Amen.
You.
What's up, King?
What's good, my guy?
Yo, man, everything is great, man. It's been a long time coming. We excited. We're in the middle right now of season 4 of Snowfall. Things is very tense and on the line right now. We got a Howard University representative, Queens, New York liver. Well, not living there now, but, originally from Queens, New York.
Yeah.
Amin Joseph is in the building. What up, yo?
What up, baby?
Yo, congratulations on another successful re-entry into another season of Snowfall. It looked real hairy the other night. I thought you was getting out of there.
Yeah, everybody seemed like they looking for Unc to get wounded, to get punctured or something. Like, no, Unc is like Teflon. He good.
Yo, we love your character so much that, sometimes you got to put some skin in the game. And sometimes you watch a lot of shows and they do kill off characters that people like. But I'm glad that you survived what went down. And there's just so much to talk about. Like, even the tone this season compared to last season, how does it compare for you?
I mean, first of all, let's just take the real life implications. We shot this during COVID. It took us a whole calendar year to shoot it. We were without our leader, John Singleton. We lost him last year in season 3. So there was a lot coming into this season. And even though we thought we had things under kind of control, then the pandemic came and we had a long hiatus, and we just really wrapped this season in January, almost like the top of February. It was like an entire calendar year. So that in itself was a challenge, but I think we rose to the occasion. I feel like it has the authenticity that John, that's now an ancestor for us, like what he initially wanted this series to be like. And I think, the audience can see the ramifications. Big shout out to all the people that were with us from the beginning, and now we're getting a new influx of viewers through Hulu and potentially Disney Plus in the future as well.
Oh, that sounds solid. And when you compare like just the tone on the set, between like when John Singleton was still alive and like with the new people that are kind of like running the show now, is there a drastic change energy wise on the set, or like it's still business as usual?
It's not like I said, it's not business as usual, because you can't replace that type of monument of a man, right? But John, John placed people, representatives in front of the camera, behind the camera, down to our catering and our security. John was very instrumental in handpicking people. So when you look around set, it looks like, John's dream come to fruition, from our camera operators, our DP, lighting design, grips, best boys. Like, I mean, literally, you can look around and see John's imprint. We have one of the most diverse, and that's also due to our other producers as well, FX as a studio and network. But, it's just, it represents the world that we live in. And especially for this type of, this genre, and, the fact that this is Black people as leads, it just feels good to look around set and see people that look like you and talk like you and can bring the story to life,
Indeed. And y'all do a great job of bringing the story to life. I was recently talking to D. Ray Davis, who's also in the show. And I was commenting to him, is like, one thing I love is like when you watch Snowfall, you see true acting, because like when you look at where everybody's originally from, with you being from Queens, and, being a believable LA person, D. Ray, I know in the show, he's a guy from Chicago, but, even Damson Idris, to know he's British, and, my man with the Afro, his name always escapes me.
Yeah, Isaiah Johns.
Isaiah Johns, he's from Georgia. You know what I mean? So when you see y'all working on the screen, y'all are really shedding who you really are, at the core, and really, embracing these characters. How long did it take you to really tap into that energy to where like the queens don't slip out?
I feel like, that's just part of each actor bringing their own method, their own ideology to this creative process. And that's the fun, The fun is to really look at the migration, the great migration of Blacks that moved from the South to the West, to the East Coast, some to the Midwest. And we went to these cities, through the 60s and truthfully 50s, 60s, 70s. We traveled. So someone like Uncle Jerome, he may have came from Mississippi, he may have came from from Texas. He might have come from Alabama, or, you know what I mean? Like, and then think about being that first generation coming up in Los Angeles and South Central when there wasn't bars on the window, you know, when it was more of a middle class community before the influx of crack, before the gangs, you know, made things really hairy to be able to live in your community. So that's all those, that's the type of influence, the musical influence. That's the type of stuff that as an actor you try to tap into to see the journey of that particular character. And then you use the real stuff from our real life. I grew up in, you know, I was born in Queens, Rockaway, Queens. I grew up in Harlem. So, I mean, I got plenty of uncles. I got plenty of firsthand, sadly, I have a lot of firsthand experience about how drugs, especially crack cocaine, devastated my community and parts of my family. So, you know, you take all of that stuff and you make a gumbo of a realistic character as much as you can.
Yeah,
Then have some fun with it. You know?
yeah, definitely make it raw and you know, I mean, and beyond believable. And you know, the biggest takeaway for me from season 1 and 2, and I read a lot, so a lot of the stuff I knew, just even how crack cocaine was introduced into the inner cities. And you know,
Yeah,
I always like, you know, being from the Bronx myself, I always understood the New York dynamic of it because I used to live in Tracy Towers.
yeah,
So when crack really started getting rolling and you saw it affect the building and the people in the building, you know, you're witnessing this firsthand, like you don't know what to make of it at first. And the way y'all executed that on Snowfall, it was almost like, whoa, looking in the mirror, but instead of it being New York, you see the palm trees. You know,
yeah,
was there
yeah,
something that you learned in this process that you didn't know going into doing Snowfall?
yeah. I mean, looking back when I was growing up, real real talk, I thought that like the valves, crack valves, especially like the tops, like the, you know, the colorful tops. I used to think that those was rocks when I was little. Like in the playground, I used to think that those, I remember just picking those up and throwing them at people and, you know, like just
Yeah.
playing in the little glass. I just thought that it was, I never made the connection until much older that, oh, that's a vial. And that's, you know, because they would be flooded in our parks, and, you know, just in between the concrete, like anything that you pick up like a kid. I think the main thing that one of the main things that I've learned with this particular show is just the government, the influence that the government had when it comes to the cheap cocaine coming into our inner cities, and the journalism approach. You know, the Gary Webb, you know, the Dark Alliance, really understanding how a lot of these journalists were breaking these stories, and some of them paid with their lives, and that, you know, the nefarious means that the government took to keep on with its geopolitical conquest. You know.
Yeah, no, that's a wild dynamic too, especially when you connect the dots between, you know, a show like Snowfall, which is, you know, a work of fiction, and I said this in air quotes, but based off of real stuff. And then you look at what went on, like in Judas and the Black Messiah, where the government played a very heavy hand, and you know, the execution of people who was actually like, you know, in the process of doing right, you know, and then it really makes you look and be like, yo, who's the real bad guys here at the end of the day,
Yeah.
you know, and we take the fall for all of it.
Yeah. Definitely. Obviously, you know, to me, the reason why someone like John Singleton wanted to make, you know, a project like this is that he didn't want to see have history repeat itself. And we can look at what's going on in the world right now. We can look at the opioid epidemic. We can look at a lot of things and see a contrast in the way that things are treated when there's people of color that are implicated and not. You know, so I just feel like there's an education going on in this. This is not a documentary, like you said, with air quotes. It is fictional. But if you just do a little bit of peeling of the onion layer back, you can see where the real life implications are. You know.
Indeed, indeed. Now, when you think back, you know, before joints in so far, what was your favorite episode of Snowfall overall? It didn't even have to be one that you was in, but like, you know, when you think back, what was your favorite joint?
Yeah, I mean that's interesting because one of my favorite is the one that I'm not in, which is in season 3. I think it's 307, and it's when Wanda and Melody they go on like a basically like a crack spree. Like they would, you know what I mean? They went to to dance at the roller skating rink, and like they was just really on the hunt for a rock. And the reason why is, yeah, first of all, I thought it was shot masterfully, but it really showed the contrast, the juxtaposition of where Franklin's character was and looking for her and having to step outside of being a boss, you know, dealer. And what this show is really about is that the human lives, the people that this this epidemic, that it really affects. And here's his, childhood sweetheart, and she's out here about to be not about to be, she a straight strawberry. Like, she's lost all ambition to go to school, supposed to go to Spelman, and she's out here with another girl. And it's the Wanda character that I actually feel the most for, because in our inner city neighborhood, sometimes we kind of pick that star person, like, oh, that person was supposed to make it,
Mm-hmm.
But here's this other girl that doesn't have the same type of, no one's looking at her life the same way that they're looking at Melody. It's almost like Wanda's supposed to be who she is, but she has a life. And I can't wait for the writers to expand and, expound on that as well.
Like, every time I think about that episode, my teeth hurt. You know what I'm saying? When Shorty got bopped in the mouth with the skate, like, I feel that every time I think about that episode. It was rough. And then also a testament to how beautiful Melody is, that she was deep into crack cocaine addiction, and I would still save her. You know what I mean? Like, she's just, even as, like Tupac said, even as a crack fiend, she was still a black queen.
Yeah, even in our neighborhoods. And remember the kind of things that we would say as just in our culture. Like, if somebody was, like, if two dope fiends make a baby, that baby come out pretty. And these are all things that I remember growing up hearing, like, oh, crackheads, they make pretty babies. You know what I mean? Like, there's all type of stuff that that is just unfortunate that we have to go through as a community. And hopefully this isn't too much of too much PTSD for some. I can understand how some of our viewers, it may touch ring a little too close to home.
It hits so close to home for me. It just brings me back to a place. Like I said, the location is different, but I know the territory all too well. You know what I'm saying? I got relatives that dealt with both sides of the game. And, I understand it, and it brings me back to these moments of my childhood. And I'm just so engaged with with the material. And y'all just doing a great job overall, man. I hope, I know this has to have an end date, but if this thing ran for 10 seasons, I wouldn't be mad at it at all. You know what I mean? I can hear this.
Unfortunately, that's not how it went in real life.
Mm-hmm.
Crack was a very poignant, but a very short-lived high.
Yeah,
short-lived high, and we dealt with we're still dealing with the ramifications of it now.
Facts. Now, yeah. Amin Joseph, because everybody's geographically from different places, when y'all yell cut, does everybody stay in it for a long time? Or because some people are like actors by method, to where nah, every time you see me, you address me as this, and I'm gonna talk with the accent that I need to have for the show. Or there's when they yell cut,
yeah, I mean, I think at this point there's such familiarity that you could find it anyway. But I know that most of our series regulars, we pretty much stay in character, and that leads to some funny stuff after you yell cut, But yeah, we try to stay in and keep the same energy as the take before. And someone like Damson, that's very method. He may keep a prop the entire, like, if you notice, Franklin has a cane coming into this new season, and that cane, I promise he wore that cane down. That's a year of a cane use. I know for myself, I've even had to go to chiropractic help just for the way that I walk as Uncle Jerome. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard to shake that stuff when you put the character down. So yeah, there's definitely the residual effect of playing a character so long and being 100% connected to that character and wanting to stay and keep the authenticity of it.
Yo, that's when you in it. How many Uncle Jerome wigs are there on set?
Well, there's no wig. Her name is Sheila, going back to that method, right? So Sheila, there's one Sheila, and she's very well taken care of. You couldn't even get to interview a Sheila You know what I mean? Like her price is out of this world. We got to bring her back from the 80s. So yeah, that's an example. Like, you know, like there's no wig. You know, that's Sheila. That's my hair. You understand? That's my girl.
Yo, you gotta respect it. Gotta respect it.
She only second to Louis, you know.
Who? Oh, the actual brand, like Louis Vuitton?
No, Louis,
Who's Louis?
The character.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Got you. Come on, if you're gonna go in there with me,
I'm catching up.
Stay with me. Yeah.
So, Amin, like, you've done a lot of work in the biz, right? What was that one role that just changed the trajectory of everything? Like, because every actor, I think they have that moment where, like, you're in the background, or maybe you're like, you don't have a speaking part, but from this moment on, you was gone. What was that role for you?
Man, to tell the truth, that role for me is somewhere on a stage doing, it's somewhere in an acting class. It's somewhere beating the craft out of me to know that I'm worthy of what I'm doing. It's the prayers of God. Am I doing the right thing? Am I wasting my life or my talent or my purpose? Is in those small moments, not so much the big moments of booking something or playing a particular role that makes the man that I am, makes the artist that I am, and puts that all together. I'm not trite. I'm not here for the moment. I'm not a celebrity. I'm an actor. And I use this craft. It transmutates the energy of who I am just as a person. And I try to be as believable and authentic as possible with my portrayals as characters. So I'm going to continue doing that. I've been doing that since a young age, and some people may notice it, some people may not, but either way, it's going to be consistent.
Well, you're definitely leaving a mark and an impression, and I can't wait to see what the future holds for you, my brother. Amin, if people want to follow you online, where do they go, G?
You can check me anywhere, Amin Joseph, whatever platform.
Easy to find. Don't forget to tap into Snowfall every Wednesday night, 10 Eastern time, 7 o'clock Pacific. No, 10 Eastern time, 9 o'clock Central. And it's always a vibe. You could always stream it next day, FX on Hulu, and get caught all the way up to where we are right now. Okay, blink twice if you're gonna make it to the end of the season. Close his eyes. I don't even know what that means. All right, cool. He's telegraphing nothing. All right, Amin Joseph, man. I love you, my brother, man. Continue success, and thank you for pulling up on the Morning Hustle, okay?
Much love, Head Crack. Appreciate you.
We are the Morning Hustle.